Welcome to Amazing Authorities with Mitch Carson. Scan the QR code to learn more about what Mitch can do for you. Mitch brings you the leaders in their field, today's difference makers. It's Amazing Authorities with Mitch Carson.
Today, I have Twanda E. Young, Brigadier General Twanda E. Young, who's now retired.
Yes.
And sharing about her leadership experience of the United States Army and now in life, and empowering executives of all varieties.
Correct. I enjoy, the passion for me is being able to see the light bulb come on for leaders who realize that there's power in their ability to influence people for the better.
Well, better is what we're seeking.
Yes.
And I think the biggest challenge for many CEOs, which would really be your civilian marketplace, because if you are a civilian CEO, tune in.
Yes, please. Tune in.
Yes. Is there's no greater platform under the difficult conditions, circumstances, reality of being in a war. And you spent time over in Afghanistan. Is that
Yes,
correct?
I have.
Okay, so you were in it. Let's just call it in the soup.
Yes.
Not outside the soup. You were in the can.
In the soup.
In the soup.
One of the letters.
Okay, you were there experiencing it. So how someone responds under pressure, under unbelievable, unforeseen challenges, defines the person. Is that a fair assumption?
Yes. Jack Crider said, we're not through crisis. Leadership is not known. That's when you are really revealed during crisis. So I would tell you that the biggest thing that I have learned is to accept and embrace change. Along with change means that there's going to be a diverse thing of thought, right? As well as conflict is going to come with that change. So leaders, in my view, embrace change, not run away from change. But you have to know how to deal with change. Okay. And
for a new CEO, we're going to go through the stack.
Okay.
A new CEO who's founded her company and is at $1 million in revenue and is now having to go to the next level, she must embrace leadership, because at that point she's got to bring on talent. She's got to bring on experts, because in order to grow, you must outsource some skill sets. Because most people get to this point of, okay, I'm about at $1 million in revenue, and I've done it all myself. I've been the chief bottle washer, the marketer, the salesperson,
like
the
being
operation.
an army of one.
Army of one.
Yes.
Okay, you've got to rely on captains to oversee this action, operations management. Another captain is handling this. How do you manage those people effectively so you optimize their competency and their efficiencies?
Well, the first thing is you value what they bring to the table. And then in valuing that, you're leading from the front by making sure that they get the additional training and development that they need in order to bring your vision to reality. So as that girl power, thank you for saying a woman, leading the effort, needs to understand that she has to be inclusive. And in being inclusive, it's understanding the environment in which she's in. What resources are out there that's going to help her build her company to the next level that she wants to go to. That's people. People are our most, as we say in the military, people are our most precious weapon in our arsenal.
Amen.
That without your people, you cannot be successful. And without leading them effectively, you cannot be successful.
Well, I read a story about the most successful military general in history was the man that did this, named Napoleon. And I don't know if that's true or not. You may or may not.
You have your perspective?
No, I don't have a perspective. I just read about it. I'm not saying it's true or not. I set some parameters there. That's what I had read. I don't know how true it is. You went to the war college. You probably have no more history. There's Lao Tzu, a whole host of them.
Sun Tzu, yes.
Sun Tzu, yeah, he was a philosopher. Sun Tzu was the art of war.
Yes.
I got my Chinese history mixed up. In your opinion, who was the best leader in history that you recall, and what was made that person so successful? And you notice I said person.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
I appreciate that. I will tell you, there's a gamut of
Okay.
people, of course, that have been very successful in their endeavors, given the challenges that they've gone through. I would say for me, in studying in War College, one of the particular ones that we talked about was Eisenhower.
Oh.
And from that, the Eisenhower matrix that helps you kind of prioritize and plan your day out of making sure that you're going after the right things, keeping your focus on the mission.
Okay.
So what I've learned from him has been very helpful.
Give me a couple examples of what you
Well, like I said, the Eisenhower box.
Okay. I'd never heard about this. That's
Never?
why I'm no.
Okay.
No, it's new to me.
So I just did a series on Facebook about being more productive.
Okay.
And how can we be more productive? About getting rid of those time wasters. And one of the things that I shared with my audience was the Eisenhower box. And in that Eisenhower box is how he, General Eisenhower at the time, would plan out his day to make sure that he was most productive. So he lists out his tasks to make sure that as he looked at them, what needed to be done that day.
Okay.
What was not that urgent that could wait to the next day.
Okay.
That kind of
prioritization
of how he planned out his day, and I think that helped him be more productive. I've used it as a general because you're pulled at many different areas. Many people want your time, and you want to be there for them, but there are certain things that, being a general, you got to get done.
Right.
So in prioritizing my time, make sure that I could still be there and be accessible to my people.
Okay. Now, what I want to go back to Napoleon for a second, just about his accomplishments. Not, I don't want to debate whether he was the most successful.
We won't.
Because it was that was one report that I read, and it was the opinion of the author.
Okay.
He was quoted as saying, "Men will die, soldiers will die for medals and ribbons. They have to be appreciated and acknowledged." Would you say that is true?
I disagree with that.
Okay.
I think people will die and will lead after you in war if they understand that you trust them, that you're willing to take care of them, and that you are not asking them to do anything that you would not do yourself. Building that trust is the bedrock of having someone follow you into war and willing to give their life.
Okay.
That's from my perspective.
No, that's a great perspective, and I might have not had the whole context of that article under mine, but it was interesting that I picked up that people are motivated by reward, by incentives. That would be maybe another way to reframe it. Is there some truth to that?
People are motivated by leaders that inspire, motivate them, and lead. And that to me has to be encased in trust. Again, trust to me is extremely important. Without trust, being from the South,
got it.
My word is my bond. That's saying you can trust me that if I say I'm going to do something, then I will do it. Example, leader tells you, or a manager tells you, supervisor says, show up at the meeting at this time and we're going to discuss these items. But that manager always shows up late. Every single time. And when they show up, you never finish the agenda. Right?
Because they're late.
They're late and they never stay on task. Now, is that going to motivate you to come?
No.
To work or to the meeting on time? No. Why? Because you're seeing that leader is not doing what they're asking you to do. They're not leading by example. They're saying, do as I say, not as I do. And I believe leadership is do as I do, not as I say.
Do as I do, not as I say.
Correct.
Okay. That's quite interesting. The words have to match the output.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words.
All right.
And that's where not just soldiers, but people in general, as they see that you're willing to invest in them with giving them the training that they need, give them the time they need to hear what their thoughts are, then they're more engaged in helping you get to where you want to get to.
Okay.
That to me is motivating someone. But you first got to know about what motivates you as a leader. You got to have some self-awareness about who you are.
Well, what motivates you?
What motivates me is being able to serve others and see that by sharing my thoughts, sharing my advisement, sharing strategies, tips, and principles that can help them get after their goals, and for them to come back and say, it worked. Or, can you tell me a little bit more to help me get to where I need to be? That inspires me. That puts fire in my belly.
Okay. Now, what advice would you dispense to this new CEO, this woman who's about 30 years old, had a great concept, she found a hole in the marketplace, came out of pain, and then the solution came and is now working, and she wants to go from $1 to $5 million. What should she do?
I would tell her to re-look at her leadership philosophy. And to me, leadership philosophy is the bedrock of any leader's influential impact. And look at her philosophy to see, is it still good, or does she need to tweak that? What are some other strategies and tips she needs to put into place to ensure that now her people have gotten her to this point? The team, I would say, have gotten her to this level, and she wants to go to the next level. Now she needs to corral her team and share with them what her vision is and how she feels they're going to get to the next level, but then listen. Sit and listen to the thoughts of your team members, your VPs, your managers, who are on ground level doing the nug work, to say, the direction you want to go in, this is how we can get there. It may cause conflict and friction, but from conflict and friction can come some very innovative ideas, some other solutions she might not have been thinking about, to open the aperture. Don't close yourself off, but open the aperture of what possibilities can be to ensure that you get to the trajectory you want to get to.
Okay. Now, it's interesting. I've lived in 7 different countries in my life, visited 63. I had a mastermind group in Japan of CEOs. One of the CEOs that was in my group before the pandemic was the former CEO of Mitsubishi. These were very high-level people that were in my group. Paid me a lot of money for my, let's just say, facilitation. And they had a very different philosophy of leadership in Japan. Like, LinkedIn failed over in Japan because as Americans, we're quite focused on the individual accomplishments. It's about the CEO. Over there, it's about the we factor. What do you think works best in America? Is it the autocratic leader, or is it the democratic one, or the one that's very country, we'll get there somehow and be very relaxed about it? What works best based on your experience in, let's say, the private sector? We know the military, how that works. That's all, you do as you say. But
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
All right, well, let's blend.
Yeah.
So that is one extreme on the continuum. Of Japan, it's all about we. They don't make individual decisions over there. It's the group. They don't want to get their butts fried.
Okay.
What do you think works best in America? Because largely your market's going to be American, possibly Canadian. What do you think works best here to get the best results with people feeling the best?
I think it's a blend. It's a blend of leadership styles. It's not one or the other. It's being a situational leader who pulls out the tools out of your toolkit to address the issue at hand. So, from my perspective, as we say in the military, since you went to that point, it's not always do as I say constantly. It is, I am responsible as the leader. I'm responsible for what you do and what you fail to do. I take that ownership on my own shoulders. I think in here, as far as the context of what we're talking about, is that a blended leadership style is necessary to be inclusive of others' ideas. But when it comes to making the final decision, I am the leader. That's my responsibility. That's what I get paid to do. But I have to be able to have critical mind of thought to be able to make a well-informed decision. I do that by getting all of the information I can to make an informed decision, and that comes from the team.
From your officers, from your captains, or
from your
vice
managers,
president.
from your vice presidents, from your best, I would say the best person that can tell you about how you're doing as a leader in your company is the first person that someone engages when they walk through your doors. That could be the janitor.
So everybody.
Everyone has value, because that janitor can help me get to where I need to be, because your building is so large, because you're huge now, right? But the receptionist and how we engage, is it courteous, or is it one that I don't want to be here? I'm just here for a paycheck. I'm not here to help you. No customer service, no etiquette at all. That sets the tone.
Of course.
For how your clients are going to then view how the top is leading. I can tell how the top is leading by who I engage with. The first inclination of me going into an organization.
Do you suggest evaluations?
Oh, yes.
Okay. How often should they be done?
I think evaluations need to be done periodically.
What is periodically?
I would say at least every 6 to 12 months.
Oh.
But in between that, there should be engagements about individual development plans. Back to that training.
Okay.
I'm a believer that training is important.
Ongoing training.
Ongoing training and development, because that, from a leader's perspective, shows your team that I'm invested in you. I'm not just invested in you for what you can bring to me, but I want to see that you get toward reach your goals, and then we as a collective will reach our goals together. So sitting down and talking, doing redirects, that, you're doing great, Mitch, but I noticed here recently, you've been off your game a little bit. What's going on with you? Something happening in life that I need to know about?
So checking in.
Yeah, checking in, doing some channel checking with the individual to make sure that they understand that you value. Again, I'm going to always go back to that value, that you value what they bring to the table, because at the end of the day, an organization cannot be ran by one person.
Well, what I've heard so far, you've used some words, and I do have a good short-term memory, is you talked about trust.
Trust
That's where
is
it all
key.
starts. It's foundational. It's almost like the hub of this making it work. And then valuing your employees and having them value what the mission is.
Yes, and you will know. I used to, when I was in uniform, and enjoyed those days, I might add, was very key. One instance I will give you, just as an example. I was in my office, and I went and visited one of the trainings that we had, and told some of the junior enlisted personnel, hey, come by my office, talk to me, tell me how your experience has been going. I didn't think that they were going to do it, but one took me up on it. When he came to
What was his rank?
He was a specialist.
Okay.
When he got to the door, and there was an old friend of mine I hadn't seen in years, and we were excited to see each other, but I told this person to come by, right? I told him, anybody wants to come by, come by. Well, I told that Lieutenant Colonel, hey, you hold off. Come on in, specialist. When the specialist entered my office, he was in tears.
Wow.
I thought I had done something wrong. I was like, hey, what's going on? Something happening in the training?
Woman?
It was a man.
Okay.
Did anything happen in training or something? He said, no, ma'am. He said, I'm just touched that you would tell a lieutenant colonel to wait.
Wow.
And a specialist to come in. Valuing that person. Something that small.
How did that lieutenant colonel take it?
He took it well, because I told him to stand by.
Follow orders.
Well, that part you got right for the Army. That's right. But I will tell you, in that instance, it solidified to me that valuing people, not rank, because what is in a title?
Time, maybe, who knows? But
there's no value in a title.
You got to earn it.
Exactly. I'm Brigadier General retired Tia Young, but if I am not a good leader, that title means nothing.
Correct.
If I'm not accessible, that title means nothing.
How many generals would you say, and then I want to go switch quickly to the private sector, think like you think? Is that a newer, modern thinking general? Or let's say leader, not even a general, or is that unique to you?
I wouldn't say it's unique to me. I would say in some instances I'm just a little unorthodox.
that's fine.
The old days of standing by when the CEO comes in and nobody talks to him or her, nobody goes up and engage them. I'm the kind, I want you to come and engage me regardless of what your rank is. Or if I see you standing over a group of you, of VPs, if you will, a manager standing over there having the conversation, I'm inclined to go over there and say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? I want to engage with you. I want to understand who you are, what's going on with you outside of work, really. Not trying to get your, Walmart ticket of what you're buying in groceries or whatever. I'm not trying to do that. But what I want you to understand is that you're important to the company and you're important to the team. And I think we don't do that enough. I think leaders feel that they cannot be transparent and be who they are.
Well, that's key.
That to me,
So
yeah.
say that again. Leaders cannot be transparent?
Leaders cannot feel that they cannot be transparent and be who they are and still lead from the front. And I'm here to tell you, you can. I did it for 33 years. I'm doing it now. And I will tell you, it's nice not to have that blind spot on.
Right.
Initially, when I came in to the military, I had that blind spot on that I had to put that face on.
Sure.
And it was very trying to be this person in the office and be this person outside of the office. When I realized, just be who I am.
Yeah, because
we all have flaws.
You can't be someone else.
There is no perfect leader.
Right.
But as long as your people see that you are putting forth the effort to lead them with integrity and empathy and inclusivity, I am a believer that you will meet your goals.
Is there a difference between the military and the private sector, or is the mindset the same?
I think the mindset is the same. At the end of the day, we all have a mission.
Got it.
Bottom line of the military is to win wars to protect the nation.
Sure.
The bottom line of the corporation is to make money and be value added in society. So I think at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's just how we get to it. But leadership is leadership. We're both in both sectors impacting people, influencing their lives, either for the better or for the worse. I'm here to first tell you that not every leader in the military is a good leader. And I'm definitely here to tell you not every leader in corporate America is a good leader.
I couldn't concur more about corporate America. I cannot comment about the military.
I can tell you, I had a little 33 years.
Yeah,
or
just
so.
a little bit.
Just
Okay,
a
I'll
little
take
bit.
your word for it. Yeah. See, we have this trust, so I'm going to take your word for it.
Yeah.
Now, let's transition for the time remaining to the corporate sector. Let's say the private sector. Who's your ideal client? Who can you help the best? Based on your experience and your own personal passion, you can create an impact and feed yourself at the same time.
Well, I would tell you, any leader that has a mindset for growth.
Okay. So they got to be receptive to
yes, that has a mindset for growth and wants to create organizational change. They want to be an atmosphere changer. That when they walk in the room, people recognize that that's a leader. That's someone that cares. Hey, you might be, now I will tell you, for me, most of my people will tell you, she's hard yet fair.
Okay.
But she's going to hold your feet to fire. She's going to hold you accountable, and I expect for my people to hold me accountable. So I'm looking for someone who wants to go up that ladder of realizing how good they can be if they cultivate their own self-awareness. But they got to have the mindset to do that.
Okay.
So that can be in any gamut of
all right.
across any
I'm going to ask you to
area.
narrow it a little bit better.
Okay.
All right. So that's a good answer. That's in the macro category. That's mindset. Is this a company of 1 million, 5 million, 100 million plus? What kind of companies are you looking for? What type of leader in what industries do you think you would be most effective?
I would say academia, because I am in academia.
Right. That's right. You're a professor right now.
Religious affiliated organizations.
Okay. So big churches, maybe?
Big churches, small churches, trying to get to where they want to go. Looking at small businesses.
Okay.
And large or small corporations. But where I came from was well over, responsibility for well over 500,000 people in the Army. So any corporation that size and bigger, I can help. Any corporation that size and smaller, I can help as well.
What's your sweet spot?
Sweet spot, I say, probably would be around maybe about 10,000 employees.
Small number, 10,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because I want to see change. Leadership is a ripple effect. And if I can get the CEOs, I can get the VPs and managers to understand that they have the power of impact, that's a ripple effect throughout the organization, because then the people that work for you will then feel that they can latch on to that and share with you their great ideas that's going to increase profitability.
How important has it been for your career to stay on course to have a supportive partner?
I will tell you what I said when I got promoted to general officer, and I said it publicly. I told Tracy that I did not, and nor would I want, to wear the rank of general officer if he was not there with me, because I didn't get there without him. The times behind the scenes of taking care of the girls, me going to war in Afghanistan, him being there and being supportive. I have never gone to a duty station that he was not there and not willing to change jobs, move to a different house.
Wow.
And normally you see as the female holding down the home.
Sure.
Him as a male holding down the home and doing it quite well. Actually, I was a little jealous because he was doing a little bit better than I was when I was there. But I honor him.
Okay.
And when I say he's my hero, I mean that from my heart, because
No, I believe you. And I've met him. And I like your husband quite a bit.
That's my husband.
I like him quite a bit, mainly because he laughs at every joke I make.
Yes,
and
we're going to talk about that.
I understand.
Yeah,
but I've paid him well behind the scenes, and I even paid him in out of print currency just to get him to participate.
Yeah.
Where do you get your strength? And I want you all to listen to this intensely. Very quickly, tell me, who is responsible, what is responsible for this very strong woman that's about 5 feet tall?
My mom and my dad. My mom, Miss Annie Lou Williamson, has always displayed for me in front of not just me. There's 7 of us.
Okay.
I'm the youngest of the 7. And they say I'm kind of spoiled, but that's just them. But she and my dad, I come from humble beginnings.
Got it.
And they have shown us how to give to others, even though we have little. The beauty of and the peace in giving to others, to share what you have. And that has always been the bedrock of how I've grown up.
Okay.
So to serve others comes natural to me. She's a pastor.
Okay.
So she's been serving for 34 years.
Got it.
So
That's where you got it.
She just displays that. And my mom is a strong woman.
Well, that's great.
Strong woman.
Amazing authorities. You've met Twanda E. Young today. We will see you in the next issue. At the bottom, lower third here, you will see where you can get in touch with Twanda and embrace her leadership. Embrace it to propel you to the next level. Thank you for being here today.
It's been a pleasure.
And we'll certainly have you back again.
I hope so.
Till next time.